Good day, everyone. Today we will be diving into a fascinating topic, exploring the evidence that shows how humans and African apes share a common ancestor. We will be looking at the anatomical, fossil, and genetic evidence that connects us to our evolutionary past. So, let's get started by exploring these key pieces of evidence. Now, here are our learning objectives for today. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to compare the anatomical features of humans and African apes, discuss fossil evidence, and explain how genetic evidence connects us. Keep this in mind as we move through the lesson. Let's start by looking at the anatomical differences and similarities between humans and African apes. On this slide, you can see skeletons of both species, African apes and humans. One of the most important differences is bipedalism, walking with 2 feet. Humans walk upright on 2 legs, while apes mainly move using all 4 limbs. Though some apes can walk short distances upright. Another key difference is brain size. Humans have significantly larger brains which have allowed for complex thinking and language development. Now, when we look at the teeth or dentition, humans have smaller molars and less pronounced canines compared to apes. Prognathism is another difference. Apes have more protruding jaws, while humans' faces are flatter. Finally, take note of the cranial and brow ridges. Apes have more pronounced brow ridges, which humans lack. Next, let's look at fossil evidence specifically for bipedalism. The fossil record gives us concrete proof that early human ancestors like Lucy, walked upright. Lucy was an early hominid, and her pelvis and spine structure show adaptations of bipedalism. This evidence tells us that walking on 2 legs evolved before other traits like larger brains. Over time, the fossils find have shown a gradual shift from walking on all 4 limbs to walking on just 2 legs, supporting the idea that bipedalism was a key step in human evolution. Well, in addition to bipedalism, fossil evidence shows us that the size of hominid brains grew over time. Early hominids like Australopithecus had much smaller brains compared to Homo sapiens. You can see this in these skull images. As you can see that this skull here is greater than this skull here. As brain size increased, it allowed for more complex thinking and behaviors, such as tool making and social organization. We will explore the tool making and social organization on the other slides that will come on the upcoming lessons. Now, let's talk about the genetic evidence. Mitochondrial DNA is passed down from mother to their offspring, and scientists have used it to trace human ancestry. That's why we term it mitochondrial DNA. And mitochondrion is in each and every cell of an organism. By comparing the mitochondrial DNA of humans and African apes, we can see a shared lineage which supports the idea that humans and apes share a common ancestor. Well, you may have heard of mitochondrial Eve. Mitochondrial Eve. Eve was that female who were in the Garden of Eden, whereby it was Eve and Adam. Now we are talking about Eve, mitochondrial Eve, and specifically to a female, which was Eve. Now, mitochondrial Eve, who is the most recent common ancestor of all humans. Genetic evidence suggests that she lived in Africa, further supporting the theory that our species originated there. We will be talking about the out of Africa hypothesis as we go on. Now, finally, let's take a brief look at cultural evidence. One of the key indicators of evolution is tool making. Early humans like Homo habilis were found alongside stone tools. This ability to make and use tools marks a major shift in how humans adapted to their environment, leading to better survival strategies and eventually more complex societies. As you can take a look on those pictures that are on the PowerPoint, from starting from the right, moving on to the left. Starting from the right, we have stone tools there, which are basic and they were not shaped accordingly to do specific tasks. But as you move on to the left, we can see that there are tools there, there are stones there that have been flattened for mining purposes. And then as we move on further to the left, there are stones there that have been molded into a clay jar for storage purposes. Now, moving on to our summary, we are moving on to the end of this lesson. Well, to summarize, we have seen that there are clear anatomical similarities between humans and African apes, such as bipedalism and changes in brain size. Fossil evidence has helped us understand how these changes occurred over time. And genetic evidence like mitochondrial DNA, it connects us to our common ancestor. Finally, finally, cultural evidence such as the ability to make tools add another layer to our understanding of human evolution. Take a moment to reflect on this. How do you think these different types of evidence all came together to tell the story of where we come from? Before we end, think about this reflection question. Which type of evidence, anatomical, fossil, or genetic, do you find the most convincing for showing our connection to African apes? And why? Give us a reason, please. Write down your thoughts and we'll discuss them in the next lesson. Well, before we go to the next lesson, there's an activity there for you to complete. It is a multiple choice question whereby it consists of about five, no, 9 questions. It consists of 9 questions which you'll have to answer and provide the answers of it. And then upon answering them, you will then fill in or just mark the reflection table whereby you will reflect on what you have learned, how you have learned, and what's the importance of this lesson. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.